What is up, guys? This is Jorge from Team Top Deck, and today I'm going to be giving you guys an updated PSY-Frame deck profile for the April 11th, 2016 format. PSY-Frames arguably are like the top 5 strongest decks this format because of the huge consistency. The ability to negate during your opponent's turn and trample your opponent's turn is very strong if you notice throughout the history with hand traps, and now we have an archetype that can have this type of playstyle, making it very opponent for your opponent. It made it very hard for your opponent to, you know, commit to any boards. So without further ado, let's get right into it. I play 3 PSY-Frame Driver. Obviously you play 3 of him, and then for the gears you play 3 Alpha. This is the one that searches, this is the one that hits monster effects Gamma, Beta is the one that stops direct attacks, and Delta is the one that negates spells. I do not have the one that negates traps, being Epsilon, because I feel like trap cards are too fast this format in terms of counter traps, and usually traps have a floaty effect, or the cost is already really good for them to go off even though you negate the entire effect. So that's why I do not play Epsilon in this build. That's it for the PSY-Frames, but like for other hand traps, I play 3 Maxi. I play 3 Maxi because this is like a little PSY-Frame that not particularly a PSY-Frame, but this card lets you draw into your frames, if not booster your cards much faster. And cards like Card-E can make your turns much more viable by the time you draw this card. Yeah, there is points where you do break with 2 or 3, but that's fine. Usually just hits the graveyard anyways. So that's it with the spells. With the monsters, I'm sorry. For the spells now, I play 3 PSY-Frame Circuit. PSY-Frame Circuit's obviously the card that lets you synchro summon during your opponent's turn, and it's not just a PSY-Frame monster that you can synchro summon. You can summon any other monster that your extra deck can provide. And then I play 3 Psychic Field Zone. This is the card that I feel like the 2 Psychic Field Zone and 2 Psychic Path is the best ratio for these cards, because 1, you do not want to draw these 2 cards too early or too late. Like, I feel like 2-2 is the best ratio. 1, because Psychic Field Zone can come if Circuit is not on board, and Psychic Path can come with PSY-Frame Circuit being on board. It's kind of like I feel like Psychic Path can be the better card at times, especially when you know your opponent has a certain card that they will activate this turn. Or if you want to be a little aggressive, you can play Psychic Field Zone and trample your opponent's hand or monsters on the field. And then I play 3 Pot of Duality, because you do not special summon during your turn except for Psychic Field Zone. If I were to add 2 more cards, it would be Pot of Desires, but I do not have that card at the moment. But the deck still flows just fine with without Pot of Desires. But if I were to run it, I would play a 2 of. That's it for the spells. For the traps, it's pretty simple. 3 PSY-Frame Overload, the best trap card this archetype can have, or any archetype can have in general. Just being able to banish cards face down is very strong, and just being able to banish like Cosmo Town and banish Pendulum Scales, break limited scales, you know, it's just very strong, and the fact that it can be activated during either player's turn makes it much better. And then I play 3 Drowning Mirror Force. This is the card that replaced Quaking Mirror Force in the previous build. Drowning Mirror Force makes the deck much better and adds more pressure when your opponent wants to commit with the direct attack. You can either drop the PSY-Frame Gear Beta or this card that will shuffle them right into the deck. And this card works much better than Quaking Mirror Force. Yeah, you can banish cards face down with PSY-Frame Overload because of Quaking Mirror Force's face down effect, but I feel like Drowning Mirror Force makes it much, it has a harder effect. And then I play 3 Rivalry of Warlords, arguably one of the best floodgates in the game. Every archetype has a different type, like Cosmos having machines and psychics, Monarchs having fairies, warriors, zombies, and fiends. And this card just really favors PSY-Frames because everything they summon is about psychic. And just being able to limit your opponent while already having them limited with your hand traps just make it really hard for your opponent to come back in the game. And that's why I played this card, of course. In my previous build, I did run Jar of Avarice, but I cut it out because I felt like, I mean, the card was great. It was a good tech with the Omega technology, but just the fact how if you draw that card first turn can really make it really bad for you. So that's why I cut it. So that's it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. For the extra deck, I play 2 PSY-Frame Lord Omega. Still, like, you can play 3 of this card because why not, but I feel like 2 is the best ratio. I wouldn't spend another $30 to $40 on a third card that you're more than likely not going to summon, so I feel like 2 is fine. Same with PSY-Frame Lord Omega, PSY-Frame Lord Zeta, a cheaper Omega, obviously only targeting the monsters on the field that were special summoned, but can definitely destroy exceeds, can definitely destroy monsters that can be targeted, and can always go for loops. So for example, if the opponent overcommits with a monster that was special summoned in attack, you can activate this card's effect and banish it, and you more than likely have an Omega banished as well. And then you can banish the card during your turn and attack directly for 28 almost every turn. So that can be like an open game for Omega for a direct attack. And then I play one what is it called, Overmind Archfiend. So you cannot summon this card properly because it requires 2 or more psychics, but with cards like Psychic Field Zone, you can actually use your Cypher gear, tuner, and a level 7, if not a level 1 Cypher gear and an Omega to make this card. This is because 2 plus 7 equals 9 and 8 plus 1 equals 9, of course, and Psychic Field Zone special summons the synchro monster not treated as an actual synchro summon, if you guys do not know by now. So that's why you play this card. Also, you can banish your Ciphering Gears that are in your graveyard, and you can set up for cards like Psychic Path to add them back to your hand. Also, when he leaves the board, you special summon as many of the psychics you banish with this effect. And then you play one like life transfer. You banish more psychics, you gain 1200 life points. There's not much decks that can gain life points as consistent as PSY-Frame, so that's why you play this card. Same with Thought Ruler Archfiend. Yeah, you can special summon it with Psychic Field Zone, or you can summon it in attack during your opponent's turn. And this card can bring back life points like nothing, because you pay cards like Psychic Path, of course, and sometimes you do have to take damage at times when you don't draw into your drownings or betas. That mostly will not happen, but just having these 2 cards that will consistently gain life points, it just makes you even harder to break in the long run. I play 2 Black Rose Still. Being able to synchro summon and nuke the field during your opponent's turn is absolutely amazing. Same with Scrap Dragon. You can get rid of himself as a not as a cost, but you can break cards after it attacks. And same with Yazi. Yazi is a level 7 Scrap Dragon, and what makes it better is that it cannot be targeted by any card effects, by any of your opponent's card effects. So that makes it really strong. Makes it really good for PK Fire, to be specific. I play 1 Stardust Dragon. I don't really go for these cards, but I feel like they add more pressure, especially when they want to overcommit boards by destroying cards with Pendulum Sorcerer and such. And then I play Ancient Fairy Dragon. By the time you drop this card, you will make Omega, because you will have a Ciphering Gear in your hand, and also you can destroy a circuit, gain 1000 life points, and add another circuit. This is another card that adds consistency to my life points. I play 1 Crimson Blader to shut down Cosmos and Monarchs. I even played this card back then when Shaddolls were a thing, but this card just stops Cosmos and Shaddolls more than likely. And the final card, I play Dark Strike Fighter, because you tribute it as a cost and you burn for 1400. And that is it for the PSY-Frame deck. If I were to change anything, I would add Winter Cherries as a side deck, but I will not show the side deck because it is incomplete. But I can replace my Dark Strike for a Dante and a Crimson Blader for a Cyber Dragon Nova by the time I get Ghost Ogre and Winter Cherries, because this deck has like no monsters when it's on the board, and when your opponent summons, you can reveal Winter Cherries and reveal Dante, Cyber Dragon Nova. If not even in a mirror match, you can reveal Omega, and it'll banish all of their Omegas, making it really hard for them to fight back. But that is it, guys. I'm George from Team Talk Deck. If you like this PSY-Frame deck profile, please leave a like and a comment below. I will update this deck in Invasion of Vengeance with that multi-threader coming through. But that is it for now, guys. Thank you guys for watching.